Good evening, fuckers, and welcome to the next Train Simulator Classic request video. I'm a little bit behind with these. I've not been in any state to do any over the last couple of days, so I've got 3 that I need to do ideally today. We'll see how that works out. So this is the first one. This is a request by me, actually. It's another one of mine. And I thought I would do a route that I am actually familiar with. It's the only route in the entire game that I am familiar with. Quite often, if I was going from Southend-London, I would take the Southend Victoria line, which takes you to London Liverpool Street, and when you're about halfway you reach Shenfield station, and that is where we will be starting in this video. Obviously the ultimate destination is London Liverpool Street. I'll point out that there are actually 2 options for Liverpool Street here. This one here, slow. Yeah, slow only begins to describe it. Choosing that option, I can't even get the train to move, and it looks to me like I've done absolutely everything, but actually I'll tell a lie, I can get the train to move. It keeps moving backwards, so yeah, I'm a bit fucked as to what I'm doing there, but at least with this option, yeah, no problem. As far as all the other details, I've set it more or less as it would be if I was taking a trip into London. So yeah, around the summertime, cloudy, because yeah, let's face it, it's Southend. It's not going to be clear, and it would be, well, actually it would be a bit later than 10:30 if I was taking the train from Southend. I always got the first train after 10 AM because I wanted to be damn sure I was paying off-peak fares. So yeah, it took about half hour or so to get to Shenfield. It didn't take a hell of a long time after Shenfield to get to Liverpool Street. I mean, it's only like 20 miles, might be slightly more, but I think it's about 20. There are a lot of stations that we go through, the vast majority of which we don't stop at. I will stop in this video, I'll stop at all the stations that we would normally stop at. Plus one that we don't normally stop at for reasons I'll explain when we get there. So as far as loco, it's a class 360. It's an emu that's never going to win any awards for being the most memorable of trains, but it's the closest I could get to the locos that I would take. The 360s never actually came down to Southend. They're the emus that would take you on to Chelmsford, Colchester, and right the way over to Ipswich, and the Braintree branch line, of course. But yeah, the ones that came down to Southend were the 354s, but they're not in the game. So yeah, I went with the closest I could. So we're in a 360 for this one. Right, let's get on the way. Right, let's get ourselves sorted out. Pantograph up. The self-test start. There we go. Okay, we are here at Shenfield. Let's let passengers on. Yeah, I'm clearly too far forward here. I'm only in a 4-car train because if you're going off peak from Southend to London, they were always just 4-car. So I thought, yeah, keep it relatively realistic. Wait for the doors to shut. There we go. Right, let's get underway. So the first station that we'll be passing, hopefully it will let us stop there because it's Brentwood, and that is a station that we stopped at on the way, or at least it did if we were on an all-stop service. If it was a fast service, we always went straight through Brentwood, fucking other side of London. Yeah, we're certainly not there. So it's quite a nice fast section. Once we're off the Southend section, we're onto this main line here. Yeah, we frequently had the chance to really get some speed up. As it is, we're not going to be able to go too fast because we are, we do have stops that. I mean, admittedly, a lot of the time the trains wouldn't stop at Brentwood, but it did happen, so I am going to do that. I had no idea, though, that Brentwood was on such a steep slope. I mean, I know that, yeah, it's starting here. For a lot of this run, we seem to be in what looks like a fucking great trench, and everything's sort of like all built up around both sides of us. It does seem to be the, this seems to be where it's starting. But the closer we get to London, the higher up it gets. There is also some debate as to where Essex stops and London starts. I know what I think, but yeah, it may not necessarily be true. So anyway, I'm taking this quite slowly because even though I've done this section plenty of times in the game, either standalone like this or as part of a career scenario, normally once I hit Shenfield, I may sometimes have to stop at Stratford, but normally I'd just keep going straight on to Liverpool Street. So here we are then in Brentwood. Brentwood isn't a bad part of Essex, actually. It's quite reasonable. There's far worse in Essex, and believe me, we'll be going through some of them. But yeah, Brentwood's okay. So here we are. Don't need to let passengers off, but we will. So yeah, you can see here these big old walls, and these walls go nowhere. They're pretty much there right the way from here to Liverpool Street. And there was me saying about the approach to Liverpool Lime Street in that video, and how it looks like you're descending into some post-apocalyptic fucking hell. The approach to Liverpool Street in London isn't much better. I mean, it is better, but not by a lot. Gate guard isn't going to give his okay, so let's just go. So next stop is Harold Wood, which really is still part of Brentwood, but that's a stop that we don't actually stop at, we just go straight through it. This service from Southend, it never stops at Haroldwood. So it shows how well I know this route. That wall that I said never ends until we get to Liverpool Street has just ended. So yeah, expert guided tour. So I never knew that this had such a steep or such a long incline. I mean, Shenfield station, which we just left, Shenfield is definitely snobby Essex, or it's part of snobby Essex, but the station looks like an absolute shithole. So as you wonder, you know, how the hell could this be snobby Essex? It looks like, you know, you're about to, you know, walk into somewhere like Wormwood Scrubs or something. But it's way up. Why the hell they built it the way they have, I have no idea, but yeah, they did. So Haroldwood is yeah, about 1¼ miles, so we are not stopping there. So I mean, it's relatively scenic around this area. To be honest, once you're on the train, you don't really notice it looking quite as scenic as those exterior shots there would have you believe. Right, you know, we don't need to stop. Yeah, we're not stopping here, so we can just actually we can pick up some more speed. We have lost a little. So you can see that the next station is Gideon Park. Gideon Park is pretty much on the outskirts of the next station that we will be stopping at. There you go, that's Haroldwood. So Gideon Park, yeah, it's barely a mile further along. And because there are so many stations on this section here, yeah, this is going to happen quite a bit. We're going to, you know, be leaving one station, and the next station it will already be on the route display on the HUD. So, right, let's pick up some more speed. Yeah, so after Gideon Park, barely a mile further down the track is the next station that we will be stopping at. And yeah, it's my old favourite, Romford. An absolute fucking shithole of a place. But it did seem to be a bit of a sort of breeding ground for sports stars. Snooker fans will no doubt be fully aware that Steve Davis is from Romford. Formula One fans of my sort of generation will remember Johnny Herbert, one of my favourite racing drivers. I was always a Johnny Herbert fan. But yeah, he's from Romford. So I think going back to snooker, although O'Sullivan, I don't think he's from Romford, but he did used to practice in Romford's, I forget the name of the snooker club, but yeah, it was one in Romford. Then there was that athlete, I'm trying to remember her name, the javelin thrower, the one who looked like Colonel Gaddafi, still does look like Colonel Gaddafi. Fatima Whitbread, I'm pretty sure she's Romford as well. Romford's welcome to her. Actually, I say that, I mean, her and Romford I think deserve each other, so yeah. I also seem to recall that that most horrendous of 80s pop groups, Five Star, I think they originated here. So yeah, Romford, although it has a couple of decent sports stars from here, also has a lot to fucking answer for. But yeah, here it is. I would say the biggest shithole in Essex, although there's another one coming up that does run it a very close second. Right. No signal from the guard again, so let's just get straight on the way. So next station we will not be stopping there is Chadwell Heath, which is really just again another part of Romford. A lot of people will also tell you that Romford is part of London. Is it bollocks? I mean, London is welcome to it, but no, Romford is still Essex. Yeah, there are very few sort of speed restrictions along this section until we get much closer to like Stratford International. And then when they come in there, they really do come in force, and in really bloody awkward places as well. So it's like this section is the calm before the storm, so to speak. So yeah, Chadwell Heath is about a mile and a half along the line. Okay, we're about to start speeding. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. There we go. You can also see, yeah, the distance between Chadwell Heath and the next station afterwards, Goodmay's, so slight. It makes you wonder why they bothered building two stations there. And it's not even the smallest gap between stations in this section. Needless to say, we are not stopping at either of these. These are two stations that we go straight through. And the next station after Goodmay's, and you can see that's coming up pretty fast as well. So that's Seven Kings. Again, we do not stop there, but the station after that we do stop at. So yeah, racing through Chadwell Heath there, and Goodmay's is sort of barely a blink of an eye later. So yeah, there we are through Goodmay's. And we'll carry on straight through Seven Kings, and the next station, which is our next stop, yeah, 1.5 miles along the track, is Ilford. And yeah, what I was saying about, yeah, there is a stop along this line that runs Romford a close second for biggest shithole in Essex. It's Ilford. There are parts of Ilford that actually look like it is alright. It's a fucking rough old joint. You have really got to watch what you're doing around here. You know, the place is full of people who will mug you for a mobile phone that's like, you know, 20 years old. Just because it's something they don't have. It's a fucking horrible place. A mate of mine used to work on a fruit and veg stall in Ilford. Mercifully, yeah, he was not Greg Wallace. So, yeah, despite working on a fruit and veg stall, he's not that much of a cunt. Put the brakes on a bit too hard there. It really didn't need to slow down that aggressively, but oh. So yeah, here we are, Ilford. Yeah. I mean, there you go. Surrounded by housing estates. Welcome to Ilford. Yeah, most definitely not a part of Essex that you really want to stop at unless you absolutely have to. Right, onwards and upwards. So the next station is Manor Park, which we just go straight through, as we do with the station after that, which is Forest Gate. Once we hit Manor Park, which is pretty much the outskirts of Ilford, but that's the sort of area that where I consider, okay, now we are sort of more into London. So you can see Manor Park is not even a mile along the line. And Forest Gate, yeah, less than a mile further along from Manor Park. Now after Forest Gate is Maryland, and that is yet another station we would normally just go straight through. But I am going to stop there because, yeah, well, I'll explain why when we do. So, yeah, straight through Manor Park. You can see it, Maryland is now like 1.5 miles along the track, but we have, oh, we have me not paying attention to the speed. And yeah, we also have Forest Gate coming up. So you can also see that the gap between Maryland and Stratford is ridiculously small. In fact, if you needed to go to Maryland Station for whatever reason, it is actually a lot quicker and a lot easier to just get off at Stratford and walk there. I slowed down way too early. As I say, this is a station that we would not normally stop at. We just keep going a little bit till we're past this bridge section that we are currently under. So yeah, here we are at Maryland. Now why would I show here? Well, I'm trying to remember which of the side streets it is. I think it's one of the, I think it's this. No, it's not this one. Anyway, they're showing them all as being housing areas. I can tell you that they are not all housing areas. There's a lot of now this section here, this is it. Now they've changed what are actually, you know, what these buildings are. But that there, it looks like it's coming up as an unnamed thing. So it's coming up as jewellers and loonists and that. It is not, or loons, menswear. I can tell you it is not a jewellers or menswear that is there. It is actually a nightclub. Very specifically, it is most definitely a sex dungeon. On the main floor, it is a bit like a nightclub with, shall we say, some private sections in places. Downstairs, it's a full-on BDSM dungeon. And upstairs, again, there are private sections along with glory holes. It's probably the it's probably the main tourist attraction, if you like, of Maryland yeah, area. So yeah, that's what I know about Maryland. How do I know that that's what it is? Well, yeah, I have been there. So right, why is, I think it's because the emergency kicked in. Let's try and disable the emergency thing. There we go. Right, yeah, because I was there for too long. The yeah. So yes, anyway, yeah, that's how I know it is what it is, having been there. Don't worry, that is all the details I'm going to reveal. You do not need those mental images in your fucking heads one bit. So next stop is Stratford, or as they rather sort of, yeah, they insist on calling it Stratford International now. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's right by the old Olympic Stadium. You can see that god awful what do you call it, sculpture thing, you know, the tower that's right next to it. And of course now the Olympic Stadium is actually West Ham United's football ground, even though it's absolutely nowhere fucking near West Ham. But more to the point as to why it is the international. Yeah, this is where the trains from St Pancras that are coming down to the Channel Tunnel, the Eurostars, yeah, they all come through here. So I mean, Stratford Station has certainly grown. When I first started going through here on this route in the 90s, it was fuck all here. It was about like 4 platforms. You know, it was a bit of a nothing. And now look at it. So, yeah, no other stations that we go straight through. We are now carrying on to Liverpool Street. So let's, yeah, there you go. There's the Olympic Park and all that. I forget what that big tower thing's called. I know the name I give it is certainly not its official one, you know, hideous fucking piece of shit, but yeah, last time I took this line, of course none of this was there. Okay, now. Right, so we have a speed limit decrease coming up down to 60 in just over a mile. So we'll coast for a bit. We won't need to decrease speed too much. In fact, yeah, if I just apply minimal brakes, there we go, now you don't need to reduce speed at all. Now around this sort of area there's a lot of gradients, quite steep ones, whether you're going up or down. So yeah, you got to sort of watch what you're doing around here, because if you're doing a career scenario, there are a lot of places here where you could end up, you know, picking up speeding penalties. Okay, another speed reduction coming down, but I mean, look how many signals there are around here. It's very heavily signalled in this section. So we're now effectively in Bethnal Green. No overground station at Bethnal Green. There is an underground station there. Bethnal Green is one of those parts of London that has an infamous reputation, but I've been there plenty of times. They've all moved, but yeah, I used to have quite a few mates living in Bethnal Green. It's all right. Mind you, it's all right because they were all right people, you know. So here we are on a 1 in 70 downward section. So here, yeah, you really do pick up speed at a bit of a rate. So another speed decrease to 30. Yeah, we're still on that. It's now 1 in 70 downward section. So here we are, yeah, the big old walls that I said were, you know, the entire length of the route. Well, they're finally back. For the final third of a mile. The entrance to Liverpool Street Station itself is pretty much underground. Yeah, all this has been built up over the top of it, so this is what I mean. It's not as bad as the entrance to Liverpool Lime Street, but yeah, it is still a bit not particularly welcoming, shall we say. Yeah, when you're coming along from Southend and that, yeah, we're always stuck way over to the far end of the station. It's taken us to platform 11. Believe me, routes to, trains to Southend, you would never be anywhere near as high as platform 11. You're going to be way down on, like, platforms 24, 25. But here we are. See how close we can get to the buffers. I don't know why I started trying to do that, especially as in career scenarios. If you try doing that, yeah, the emergency brakes just slam on. Yeah, fuck it, yeah, this will do. So there we are. It's a short old trip, but that is Shenfield to London Liverpool Street. So the only sort of route, or should I say partial route, in this game that, yeah, I am familiar with through very frequent use. So yeah, there we go. See you on the next one.